Hello, we are back to testing mini proposal templates. Today we are going to most likely finish it. So we have 2 chapters to go, chapter 8 and chapter 10. So let's just dive straight into the chapter 8. Chapter 8, 5E experiences and project roadmap. So in this session, the template is sectioned into 2. In the top, you will have the experience flowchart, excitement, entry, engagement, exit, extension. And below there is a describe that what does it get it, what excites for person to even start your process or a project or a product or service you're offering. Then once they enter it the first time, what do they experience, and then how do you engage with them, what can they do with the product or service, and once they finish the engagement, how do they finish the engagement with or the service? How is the experience going out of that, and then what do you get out of that? So when they exit, do they get dating a product or some feeling with them or knowledge? So that's the first exercise in this, and then we are also going to look into few bases of project management. So in this example, we will go through all of these elements of project management and see how many of these elements we could fill out or plan ahead with this proposal. For example, under initiation, we define project goals. We already defined it a few chapters ago, so we can start stealing sticky notes from previous chapters. And then once we fill these out, then we can do some planning. We define the scope. Then we think about a little of executions where we allocate the project resources, but in a high level. So we don't go into too much detail here, but it just to show what are all our steps and plans with all of these sections, and then of course also go over how do we monitor and complete the proposal. And yeah, there are other kinds of how could you do an example about workshops. Any questions about these 2 exercises?
Not yet.
Okay, then let's get started. I noticed Kaua shopping in. Okay, create the flowchart starting with excitement. The way the person first becomes aware of experience. What captures their attention? So,
hello everybody. Hey Tevo. Hey Tonis.
Hey, Kaua.
Fine. Hope you guys are all right. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we just introduced ourselves into the chapter 8, and now we start the first question. What captures the user attention when they first become aware of mini proposal workshops?
Possibility to get a success, to make a successful proposal, perhaps.
Maybe
it's the mirror board.
Yeah, same. Prepare templates, aka mirror boards. maybe also videos. Yeah. So we have all of these things. Make it text. So first these, then once which of these would you say is the main reason to capture attention? I think the opportunity is the main, like, because you will stumble upon this opportunity. Like if you're looking, okay, I need to do a proposal, where could I start? And then when they find this opportunity, then like, okay.
Yes, that's more like more as a solution than a cause itself.
Then entering into the experience, crossing from one context to another. So how do they enter? Well, we're gonna prepare Google form. But also, I guess they just send text message, or like they take contact. They take contact. Perhaps they start watching videos, or even depending on their knowledge level, dive into my robot templates. Well, what else could be the first contact? So if it's there, if it's this, yeah, if they say opportunity, I guess that they take contact is the more general.
Community connections.
I guess it's a little similar to taking contact, like community connections is a thing, but how do you enter into this experience? How do you be part of this workshop? How do you get in here? You join live Zoom sessions, but how do you know this exists? How do you get it here?
Maybe they see our proposal.
Oh, yeah. That's also, I think, that we could, I'm going to add it as also excitement funded proposal. But it's not, again, it's not like entry. If they see a funded proposal, then they probably dive into the templates, because on the proposal you can see and yeah, I guess that's a high level then. They may not start from here, but this will lead them into like different opportunities. Yeah, but I guess in our case the main flow is then still Google form. We haven't prepared that yet, but that this is how we invite people into this session.
Okay, so they can't join. They can't even view like without the form.
No, they can. They can view without. They can start watching videos. They can just strike straight into the Miro templates because everything is open source. If they saw the prepared templates, they can go into it or found a proposal.
I mean, joining the Zoom call.
Yeah, in order to join the Zoom call, they have to know that it exists.
Devo, I would say o Cardano Forum, the Catalyst School website, as a random points of entry, perhaps. Do you remember if the Catalyst School website has SEO? Those things for...
No idea. We actually yesterday also I added a purple sticky about to check up with Lucio or Victor to see if they can like track how many people are on the website. But and SEO stuff is totally different. Don't know how is that even. But that's a good point. Cardano form. I guess the Cardano form is like an optional still. Like I would, because with Google form we get like clear input of what kind of proposal they want to do, how much they have already planned, and get some kind of very basic 4 or 5 questions in, and then based on that we can select a person we're gonna go through entire session, because this time we're going to do like one proposal or one team, and in the future, I'm not, we don't know how successful it is, but I would assume we're gonna do a similar thing again. We may scale it. So I would literally kind of repeat the process we are doing right now, but because we always scale up a bit, improve a bit, and so it's still gonna get better and better over time. But that's a good point. Yeah, having different entry points. Okay, so that was entry. I'm gonna just drag it here. Engagement. So once they get into it, so let's say we're gonna choose Google form or whatever we use, then engagement, the activities that engage the participant in the experience. So basically what they do here. I guess chatting, ideating.
Yes, ideating.
How about
problem solving?
Ideating about how to solve, how to make proposals with an example. But that's basically then video call. And in the video call, we ideate about how to make proposals. Problem solving is an activity too. So if they dive straight into Miro board, I guess they do then they just skip the video call and basically they do the same things. Answering, basically that's just answering questions. Answering questions on my robot. My robot templates. And we're gonna do the same thing in here too. If they start watching videos.
One more thing is voting.
Vote on what?
You know, when there's like a choice and everyone needs to vote.
Voting on different approaches. Collective voting on different approaches. Okay. What's the main engagement there to? They ideate, problem solve, or answer questions on Mara boards? Okay, I guess we should mention the problem solving together. Ideating together. Collective ideating. I guess I will take this collective ideating about how to make proposals with an example. It's the main thing. And then we move into exit, the clear end of the designed experience. So what's the end?
Proposal draft.
I wouldn't say that. I think technically our work ends after chapters are completed.
Mm.
But yeah, this is now the question. Did we mention copywriter? We did, no typos in text, help to write proposal draft. So if we do include, so there can be many ends. So completing a chapter, completing all chapters, or crafting a proposal. So it can end. I'm just gonna take it from here. Yeah. Anything else where they can end their journey? Yeah, and it looks like a drafting finishing. That's the proposal. But that's not actually, this is not an, so this may not be the right thing. this is an output of, but this may not be the experience of the customer. Their experience actually ends with completing all chapters in workshops.
Community networking, perhaps
That's an engagement, community networking. That happens in video call. Completing a chapter in workshop, clear end of a designed experience. Completing all chapters in workshops. Yeah, and it doesn't actually have to be a video call end. So a clear end of design experience for some could be just the answer Miro-board questions.
Yeah.
And then if they do it multiple times, then they just have more exit strategies. But our clear end is actually completing all chapters in workshops. And then a physical or digital object that the participant can take with them. So, and this finishing a draft proposal is from our side, but draft proposal and proposal templates with ideated examples. These are the outputs. What else they get? Technically, they also get a video where they share their thought process, how they go about with their proposal. So it's also marketing material. If they use it that way, but it's totally, because you can just link to the mini proposal workshop video and say, hey, we did it. Like this is how we are thinking about the proposal, and it can hide a lot of good information which may not end up in the proposal itself. But actual, in our case, then actual expected outcome is drafted proposal. Do you guys agree? Want to add something?
I got a question. Why does it have to be a physical or digital object?
It can also be a feeling, yeah, right. Extension, I think. That's actually a very good question. 5E experience. A physical or digital object to take home and remember the experience. Okay, so this is a feeling doesn't last. Well, it may last, but I guess it's, well, let's see. But it looks like it's coming just is something to remember by. Anything is personal. It doesn't even go to the full detail here. For example, what happens for the extension phase and of an intensive 2-hour kickoff and online training experience? Participants wrote each other a haiku, a full credit exercise. This was an extension that tied together how we began the call with the shared space between first and second call. Model for extensive use. Yeah, okay. So it's still meant to be like a memorial piece, which you like look at it on actually exists, you can see or touch, which will remind you the entire experience.
Okay, what do we do that goes straight to Cardano Ledger, Tevo? Because that's forever. We do nothing. If you get, I'm thinking what output the person can get from mini proposal workshop that will be available on Cardano Ledger, because that's forever.
So you think we should have some kind of NFT or metadata?
On-chain, yes, or on-chain
Sure, why not?
some sort of credential, perhaps. I think nowadays the most
or do we okay, NFT for completing all chapters in live session, I guess something like that. So it's like one NFT for for anybody, which just shows that you participated. And yeah, why not?
Or gimbal tokens, even if we don't have.
Yeah, but when you see a gimbal token, you don't really connect it with, oh, I got this gimbal tokens. It should be unique, I think.
Yes, correct.
And under NFT, we could include, and in NFT, we could include this Miro board link, but yeah, how long this will last? And still.
You can print the Miro board and attach in the NFT.
Yeah, true. But then it's like such a scribble. Like if you have an NFT like that, it doesn't really, unless you can zoom it in like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see if
we can give them a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically we can try. Yeah, these are things we must test. As PDF. Maybe PDF is a best quality. Desktop. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, we could give them PDF then. Yeah, and it technically has each frame separately too. It's in a random order, but we can fix it, I guess. Oh, no, we can't. Well, we can figure out why it was in random order probably. But I guess then, yeah, let's NFT for completing all chapters in live session and includes PDF in. So where do we store that PDF? In the IPFS?
That's up to you, Tev. I don't have the slightest idea.
Metadata includes PDF line in IPFS. And then we also have, we can just link to my robot. So we can have both of these. These informations too. And some kind of nice message. And yeah, I guess that's it. Well, technically, if we could, we use these pictures standards, then technically we can have like a custom picture. Something which represents MPV, like something related to mini proposal workshop. Like an award-like picture. Yeah, sure, why not? Costs us only 2 ADA and a bit of activity here, which is probably all of this stuff will figure out in like 2-4 hours. Like, I don't know how long it takes it to take a picture. Maybe we can use the AI to make the message and the picture, so it's matter of minutes.
That means
Okay. Very well. So 5 basic phases of project management. Initiation. Define project goals. Did we define project goals? We did, and we did it in the defining success stage. So we are successful if those proposers who we helped in Fund 10, Cardano Project Catalyst, and got funded, finish proposals on time. Let's see the typo there, I'm gonna fix it here. So that's our first goal. Then create the business case. What does that mean? I have no clue. Create the business case. What is a business case? What is a business case? A business case provides justification for undertaking a project, program, or portfolio. It evaluates the benefit, cost, and risks of alternative options and provides rationale for the preferred solution. I think we prepared it in the problem statement. We probably why the selected problem is a problem. All have to fit the same guidelines. Okay, proposals and have conditions to close out. I think what's that? Benefit. Okay, so the modular approach for education material, the solution will reduce this solution will reduce the risk of funded proposals which do not deliver on proposal expectations. Yeah, so I guess that is one thing we mentioned before. So the business case is in 3 steps. So that's a benefit. Cost is, we haven't done costs yet. So the cost is our time, basically. But it's like an alternative options. There is no alternative options.
I think for the future, you should probably put an explanation there for other people what is a business case.
Yeah, I don't even know myself. Perhaps I actually I'm not sure we want to address it here. It already complicates, like the business case is the entire proposal. So
Yep.
So it's not really, perhaps we should, and we already defined quals. So yeah, I think, yeah, let's go through all of these and then design our own things which we were missing from the rest of the proposal and address it in this area. Okay, complete the project charter, draw up the list of stakeholders. So we basically, I don't know what is the project charter either. And we did have the list of stakeholders. So technically, this proposal is initiation stage, and we don't really need to include it. So planning, define scope. Again, we define scope in the solution, create a project plan. Okay, create a project plan. Yeah, this
Google said that the charter is like a legal document that turns a business into a legal entity.
Well, no, we don't need that. Yeah, that's a good point. Some projects maybe need that information. But again, yeah, I don't know, that doesn't really stop anybody from executing the proposal, business or not. Create the project plan. So here, this is an interesting one because it's actually quite true that we do not have any timeline. Set the budget baseline. This comes define. I guess the project plan could be done after we do the proposal cost and delivery schedule. Okay, so it is coming. And set the budget baseline is define roles and responsibilities. We did that. Allocate project resources, manage project resources, build product process. So how do we, so here, there, okay, the first time when I looked at it, I guess I didn't really think that deeply. Build the product process, meet often and fix issues as they rise. So this is just things what happened, but it's kind of somewhat related to the cost and scheduling, monitoring and track effort and costs. So that we do on the metrics KPI side, monitor project progress, ensure adherence to plan, prevent any chance for disruptions. You can't really to a question. Like, how do you prevent any chances? That's the risks we actually talked about previously. And completion, handover, deliverables. And the deliverables basically were the ones we just mentioned up above there. Review project deliverables. I don't know. This is basically progress reports and closing reports, I guess, for the catalyst, and get project results approved. Yes, that's obvious. Document project learnings, and yeah, this is all closing report.
It looks like there is quite some overlap.
Yeah, true. I'm gonna remove that because basically we already, in one way, this proposal already includes all of that, but not execution based, not really. It like planning how to execute, perhaps, but how to monitor and how to complete is the completion is actually. That's a good point. I'm gonna check if we could start including some questions in from the closing report, so that you already have like the North Star, what you need to achieve, and then already aligning your start position with the end position. Where I am. Finish a project. Let's refresh that, maybe it's changed. Okay, so name a project date, the list of challenge KPIs, list of project KPIs, list of challenge KPIs, how the project address them. Yeah, so the closing report requires challenge KPIs and how the project will address them. So that question we actually haven't answered, and we probably want to include that in the KPI, under KPI stuff. List of project KPIs, key achievements, key learnings, next steps, final thoughts, links to relevant project. Yeah, so nothing really we cannot think beforehand. Okay, so technically this is all kind of failed attempt and doesn't really suit. Now the question is, do we want to use that as an example of what do we all cover in these proposal workshops? Because we do define goals, we create a business case with the problem statement and solution. We don't really cover the project charter, but we have stakeholders, we define scope, we do planning, we do budgeting, we define roles. We don't do execution, but we talk about the risks. I know this is prevent any chance of disruption, so we do that here. And the execution is kind of skipped, can't really do that on the proposal. Track effort and cost, we do the other KPIs. Yeah, one might as well not use it. Yeah, okay, so that just technically changed this stuff. So we don't actually have a project roadmap here. We have 5E experience. I'm gonna check what kind of example I put here. Workshop leader checklist, workshop design and website development. Set the scope, decide what participants will create, set selection criteria. Write an application question, set application deadline, set registration rate. So all of this is actually coming when we start doing the budget items. Okay. Well, I would say that then this is a kind of a failed exercise in a sense that what was previously planned, we don't really need it here. So we only have this one exercise. And that's kind of it, which then means we took us, I don't know, 45 minutes. How long we did that? We spent so much time on this kind of looking at the project roadmap stuff. So let's say 40 minutes was this one. And let's conclude it here. And with this, we conclude chapter 8, 5E experience. And our excitement, we chose the opportunity to make a successful proposal. So that's what people will get excited about us. Our main entry point will be Google form, where we will ask some information about their idea or the problem they want to solve. And then we move into collectively ideating about how to make proposals with an example. So we run through with their idea and do all the chapters, and then the output, our main output will be the draft proposals. But as you can see, this exercise will also open up for other possibilities. What is the output? What else they actually get from here? For example, proposal templates with ideated sticky notes, some video marketing material, and NFT for memorial on-chain memories. Okay, then let's jump to the last chapter. The hardest one, I guess. Chapter 10, proposal cost and delivery schedule. So in this last chapter, we ideate on all kinds of tasks people will do for this proposal, and then we do a cost analysis for them. And we also have an Excel template where you can bring all your ideas into, and then have some summarizing calculations about what is your hourly price or your delivery prices, and then if there is any taxes or anything else you need to consider in order to get your final cost of the proposal. So list all the resources you will need at each stage and what they cost. Think about all the elements from previous chapters and try to cost them. Consider including budget elements for community engagement, project management, and documentation. Okay, I guess let's start with the roles. I think here we can get the most stuff, and perhaps we can let's start with the proposal or in the my report. So each role related, expected. Yeah, here we didn't say what they do. So proposer coordinator, what does it do? Reason why this role is needed. Someone who will help proposers who are interested in the proposal workshops, gather information, and helps to set time for the educator. So it's a task, coordinate meetings between proposer and educator, and I wonder is all of these reason why this role is needed on our project. These are basically all the tasks. Help project to able to, but this like help projects able to flow on guides. That doesn't really mean anything. Helps to make education material. So okay, some of them I guess we can just copy paste. Kind of. One is coordinate meeting between proposer and educator, then gather information and time. So how do we gather information is Google Forms. So create the invitation, Google Form, then teacher, how helps to digest the workshops and education resources. I guess actually perhaps it's faster because you're gonna have the same experience as before. With the KPIs, it may take like 2 hours. That I don't know what you guys are doing, but if you jump on the Miro board and we split up all the roles, so for let's say from this to this, mark it yellow, from this to actually the names. Oh, that's even better. Okay, so actually this is even better. You see the names behind there, find your name and then describe your tasks on the left side and just ideate on all the tasks you would need to do in order to make it complete. What would you need to do in order to make this proposal complete? And you go and have like marketing designer stuff, and you can put some project manager ideas, and I'm gonna start from top. I already did proposal coordination stuff, but you can add more ideas here. And okay, I'm gonna drop I did drop the Miro board in the Zoom chat. We can make, okay, so let's think about it like this. So to less confusion, copy paste the first role and reason, and I guess in our case we copy paste the accountability, but delete, and then now it's under chapter 10, and on this left side let's do it then like here. And then we just delete the table. And I'm gonna in the future then I will include the but for now let's just think about all the activities, where is your name behind, and then later we can put estimated time on that.
But aren't the reasons why this role is needed already basically the same thing?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So if it is, just copy paste it. If it isn't and it requires, so think about like an action, like it has to be an action.
Okay.
Like if you would give somebody else a task, hey, do this, then in that form.
Evo, have we got a feedback form for mini proposal workshops?
Not yet, but for these proposals, we did under KPIs, we did expect that we're gonna do it this time.
Okay.
So yeah, an action item would be somebody has to do it. And if you come up with an action item, yeah, which doesn't really fit to any of these roles or would fit to many, still make it, because it actually doesn't matter which role does what action. We're just using this table as a good starting point, like to ideate on things we need to do. And Tõnis, if you're ready, you can start from bottom to up, and I'm gonna come from top to down.
Yep.
Are we ready to go through this results we did? No.
I guess.
All right, let's start from the top. And make available link to attendees and link kit for Project Catalyst documentation already in some other report. Okay, so like a one pager or something.
Yeah, or in a message for the chat, like I don't know, the basic ID scale, the guidelines, posts from IOG, it's how to send the closeout report, perhaps from KDAO.
Okay. Create and invite MPV attendees to fill in a feedback form. Okay, so okay, yeah, feedback form. I guess let's make it separate. Create MPV feedback form. I guess invite them to do the feedback form is actually, it's not really a task, but it's a good point. We don't have a facilitate a meeting. Make sure it's recording and feedback form is mentioned at the end. Something like that. So we have keep track of it. Yeah, to keep track of it happens on the analysis side, I guess. Now I added in the below to the analyst the track of that. Then coordinate meeting between proposers and educator, create the invitation, Google form, asking feedback about the sessions. So basically this is the same thing here. Yeah, let's delete it. Support proposer in the live workshops, support groups. It's almost the same thing, but then we can like take it like two differently, that we have like an educator and then we have a facilitator, so host and co-host. So co-host, we make sure all the like checklist is fulfilled. Then support proposer offline when they ask questions. So it was like, because previously again, we added in the fact that we had a risk that people still don't complete the proposals, but then we can, okay, so it's not only supporting when they ask questions, but proposers or like connecting, asking progress reports, and if they need help with something from proposers who used the resources, I guess. So it's another thing. Prepare resources for live sessions, just to prepare. So that is related to the, I guess it's not really related to feedback. It's related to the invitation Google form. And well, yeah, still previous sessions too. So it is still, yeah, it's kind of related. Update proposer module templates. So here it's related to the also analyzing live sessions from the analytics side. 10 module chapters, and it's like it's not updating one, but it's all of them. So it's each, and currently we have 10 of them. Make sure all the tasks by team members are completed. Yeah, so that's like an overview. Where it's but it's yeah, okay, let's keep it. Coordinate tasks between participate in project management meetings. Video thumbnail for each chapter. Hooks the viewers in with appealing designs and catchy hooks. What does that even mean?
It's marketing.
What's the task here? What is the hook? And what
It's
is
like it's like the invitation, you know.
Okay, so then create an invitation message. And what is the appealing design?
So it looks good.
Okay, so that's just okay. Create the appealing invitation message. Spreading workshops and other content in different media channels. Yep, media creation, video content description, then rendering of the videos, cutting out the filler. Okay, and that's like rendering of the video, so it's per each chapter again. Times per each proposal. And then cutting out the filler. And basically that's also the same thing in like for doing for each of these. I wonder is the top now. Chaptering the videos for accessibility. Okay, and that's also same. Distributing the resources between team members in a fair way. Let's be precise. Keeping track of the resources. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is like, what does it mean to keep track of the resources? Updating an Excel. Yeah, large Excel with balance changes. Then, as an analyst, summarize monthly project results for progress reports and summarize project results for closing reports. And then they could include whatever, or from feedback to your own feelings and actual progress and tasks and reports. interprets the data collected and turns into text form, and helps to write proposal draft for submission. Isn't that the same thing?
I guess.
Okay. Into the text form is draft proposal. Data into draft proposal ready to be submitted. All right. And now we remember, keep it all in the memory what we already have, and let's browse through from the beginning all the stickies we have and see if we got any new tasks we didn't mention before. So we are wasting half of our resources. So funded proposals don't get finished. Team is not expected. Okay, so these are the reasons of the problem statements. What kind of effect it has based on perspective, completed something else, based perspective are funded and completed something else. It's so many proposals do not get funded. Huge impact. Okay, nothing for proposal. Mira board setup for visual guidance module approach. We have online meetings. Yeah, I guess the coordination is kind of covering it. Everybody is invited to join. The solution will reduce the risk. This risk of the proposal, once proposals get funded, proposal may not know how to execute on proposals. Okay. Describe impact. More resources, lower progress. Currently proof data set is small. 3 proposals which participants were funded have not yet finished. How does it make economic sense? Well-written proposals cost less. Okay, with legal implications, not applicable. How the presented solution solves the problem. Educational material. Guides how to plan. Elements. Fine. Title doesn't think we have anything. Select an answer what kind of proposal I'm making. Making community proposal, and we do invite community. It's an open source. Because it's open source. Manage, in our case, as a project manager. Coordinate task between participants. Manage project documentation on my report. If you feel like it doesn't fit, yell at me right now. We can improve it. What else? Did I skip something already? Education. Proposal, open source, modeling, infrastructure, research, do analyzing. Voters, special stakeholders, voters, educators, proposers, lack of their own giving vision, increased likelihood. Yes, track. Oh no, this time we don't actually track. We somewhat do. So where we had this offline, asking progress reports if they need, asking proposers progress reports, and if they need help with something from proposers who something. Yeah, who use the resources, but what I wanted to say. Oh, I forgot already. Yeah. Keeping track of which proposals got funded. Somebody has to do that. Or actually collect information on Excel which proposals got funded. or a my report. Yeah, I guess doesn't matter how. Then where was we? Let's get here. Success. We want videos. We did videos. We have my report. We have Excel template. Okay. We have the project part. We have a bunch of risks and solutions are examples on Miro board. We have live sessions. We have invite them. We did have an invitation stuff or follow-up meetings. We do offline stuff, have multiple live sessions. Okay, actually follow-up meetings with proposals, so that's a very obvious something else. So that's when asking proposers progress reports and if they need help, and that can lead into needing to external additional additional support meetings. Ready, if possible, change the proposal plan, update templates. Yes. KPIs. So progress reports or feedback reports we did. We created the feedback report, right? And then we also how to and track how many track live attendance, and record it on Excel. And then also track registrations for live sessions and record it on Excel. And track. Okay, so create a forum for who use offline resources, offline educational resources, and want to be supported, basically. And then we also, oh boy, this is an update. Prepare T-work tasks because we assume we're gonna use T-work stuff. And yeah, that's good. Okay. From experience, what did we mention? Anything new? Proposal, link, nice message, PDFs. Oh my God, this NFT stuff is a bunch of new tasks. So let me put these. Yellow stick is also in here. And where was I? Here. Great. Great. Create a PDF. Yeah, basically, this is all like create a PDF and upload to IPFS. That's a soup task, but technically create a reward NFT. This is a task. And it's like I'm not gonna do it too detailed. Everything else is a bit more obvious. Custom picture representing proposer and MPV. Draft proposal, we did that. Video marketing material, yeah, we did that. So, do you think we have all the tasks?
I think yes. I think it's very well mapped, but I don't think it's practical.
Practical?
Yes, Steve, it will this workflow for the team will take like an eternity to be executed with so much details, so it's not practical.
Yeah.
And won't fit in the hours, obviously, that we pre-selected. So I don't know if we can use some sort of automation to make it more efficiently done. What do you think?
I agree.
On Motherboard, yeah, I'm not sure is that. Do you know how many hours or minutes we already spent?
Okay, let's Tebo, excuse me. Forget the matter boards. We gotta take some actions in order to put this whole thing together. Those actions, either is Microboard, is video, is posting, are so many details and too many tasks for the whole team. Some sort of, when I say automation or efficiency, is to make things faster. Even though plan looks very good and well planned, what I say is the execution of the workshop may stumble up to some problems because it's too much things to be done, few hours, few people. So we can't, in a metaphor, plan to launch a rocket if we don't have, I don't know, full engineer, electric engineer to keep up with these tasks. I don't know. I'm thinking here, we gotta do it. We gotta do it in an efficient way, and that is fast because things change all the time. What are your thoughts?
I agree, but I specifically I'm thinking about this chapter 10. There is like too much going back to the older chapters and checking the information. Too much back and forth like action. This takes too much time, I think.
Yeah, but how else you would? Because yeah, well, one thing with this upcoming proposal and yeah, with this workshop, it's like, because if we don't do that, then we basically the tasks are going to be very high level, and like it's yeah, some way it gives you freedom how to execute. But another way this shows you, this will actually help you to understand the actual cost of the proposal so that you don't under budget yourself or you don't over budget yourself. And I would say that perhaps this exercise, that having like this role, gave a good, and then like every team member, or that we can also have in workshops, that everybody just starts brainstorming sticky notes and then you go over it. I think up to that point, to me it felt fine because we got a lot of data in quite a short time. But yeah, going back and forth, maybe we can skip that. Although if you kind of go through your previous stuff, then you we don't miss stuff like what we missed here, like prepare debug tasks. Because if we would have forgotten to include that in and this in, and you budget yourself within these tasks, you would literally miss like $1,000, $2,000 in a proposal. And once you get funded, you just gonna run into problems. You're gonna either cut budget, you're gonna cut some activities, and you're not delivering on your proposal as you thought or as you planned, although it may be still fine because others don't know what you're actually proposing. So that this is like, I know like the last two chapters, 9 and 10, these are actually the hardest stuff to do, or like, but this is the full thing. This makes the proposal. Rest of the stuff, this is all copy pastable. This, because these are the more we do this, the more examples there are. You just select this problem, this solution, title doesn't care, like all of that other stuff, they can be picked, chosen, and the actual plan comes down to the final elements of what is then actually going to be done. And and that kind of creates the proposal. So I somewhat understand it's like a heavy rocket. And
I feel you're trying to defend the work. I was not attacking it. Sorry if it.
But I'm just wondering how could we pivot here? Like, what's the alternative?
Great question.
Well, as long as you're in the workshops, though, people will understand. But without you, it wouldn't work.
But wouldn't the videos somewhat help, like just into the guides?
Yeah, I'm really interested. Like, how will it go with like other proposals? Because it seems like we have like 3 members, and it already seems like such a big process. How will it go with even bigger projects?
Yeah, I guess if it's a bigger project, then they don't go to too detail. Yeah, it's all comes down to scope.
I do like the fact that you're focusing on the details, and I think maybe this is a good thing that it's so like going so deep, because then we can like weed out the proposals that are not so serious about the work.
Another way to look at it is, if you have all of this information in a written form, basically your feasibility and auditability will be maximum stars. Impact will be based on people's perspective. And if you are in such a detail, then it's going to be much easier to execute, especially in the catalyst where you're 3 or 4 months later, you receive funds, and then you're like, you're just coming off from other projects. Okay, let's drive straight into it. Okay, what do we need to do? And if you don't really, if your plan was, I'm going to have a project manager and I'm going to allocate him $4,000, I'm going to have an video editor, I'm going to give him 2,000, then you would still have to do this stuff. Then you would just sit down in a meeting. Okay, who's going to do what? This is our goal. But now what we are doing here is we put it up front so that you take the proposal, you read, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this, and this. How do I do it? That's not, this we don't go into. This is once you get funded. But what needs to be done? is an outcome of the proposal or the workshops or the educational sources. And you're probably right, it's not gonna feel very welcoming for many if but like these were the risks that Maribor can be confusing, and it's still a huge work. This is project management. This is what people get paid for. High sums.
All right, if that is it, let's carry on.
I'm down to like alternatives, but I'm maybe too into this, and I cannot like zoom out and see another way to make it faster without just creating our own tooling. And I'm not even coming from an educational background to know that is there anything like that what could be used to generate the output we are brainstorming.
Okay.
But perhaps we could like think about making it even smaller. So yeah, like you mentioned, flying around the Miro board isn't perhaps the best idea, but for example, in all these chapters, having a section that if you found an action item, then include it into some corner, and in the end, you just collect all the action items in the end. So you basically, you do your task list on the other chapters, and in the end, you just collect them in one place. And then you have this exercise of thinking roles and what they do. But then you don't do it the shearsing anymore. You just copy paste stuff because you were already in the action of while ideating. That may speed it up a lot because then you just copy paste it through and you don't do the shearsing basically. Even though there was a back and forth, but this for us it was we checked everything, but in the end we didn't really need to check everything. Only very specific sections in chapter 8 and 6, and just make sure that the KPIs are tracking that you actually budget the tracking, so you don't track your work for free. you actually allocate some hours on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, here I need to do in totally new design, so it's more clear to copy the role and what to look for, and make room for this ideation process. Anyway, but we're still not done yet. Because we just ideated on the proposals. Now we kind of open up the Excel and see if we can use our templates. What if I now copy paste all of this into Excel? What happens? Oh my God, it's actually working. I'm gonna format these. Okay. It would be better if we would be able to copy paste it into the Excel. So we need to design how to be added, because if I put 10 modules here of the proposal templates, okay, actually it is quite close. But I don't know what's the analyze previous year experience update track. Yeah, these are not good. Okay, so select all, but remove white ones. And copy paste. Okay, let's see if I can now allocate some hours here. Create MPV feedback form. How long we create the form? I think 1 hour is enough. Or what we could actually do. There's a neck. We could do an exercise here. Yeah.
Do you mean for the whole fund?
No, feedback form. But yeah, full fund. But you reuse the same form anyway. You make it once, the questions and stuff, and then we send the same link over and over again. But yes, for full one.
It takes less than an hour, Tivo. And we already have some examples of forms.
Yeah. I guess maybe a good suggestion here is that better not go into details of minutes. And
Yep.
if it's minutes, then minimum is 1 hour. And you never know if maybe this is a good example in a way that if you give it an hour and you like give it hour time, perhaps people are gonna think about, okay, where do I get this message or a picture, or kind of design it out a bit more. And if it's a new person or somebody else doing who doesn't have a template, they don't even know where to find it, still gonna put some effort onto that. And then it's in another way around, what if you outsource this activity, that we put it out as a bounty task? We tell the community that, hey, can somebody do a feedback form for mini proposal workshops? The reward is 1 hour, which is like, I don't know, $50. I don't know, like 100. And so that's give this opportunity. But again, do we want to have an exercise here that each person in the call assigns hours on all the tasks, and then we take the average or something? Then we see if somebody says 2 hours here and somebody says 6 hours, and then we can have like a discussion. So, okay, why is this different? Maybe somebody has more experience, somebody has less, and then, or we just right now, we go just each line by line, and we basically fill out the hours, and that's it.
Well, I think to compare the hours amount between attendees can be good, because there's the experience exchange, and through that, I don't know, if a guy puts, I will take 5 hours to do everything, and the other guys put, I'll take 20 hours. The guy that said 5 hours, he can provide some tools for the other guy, have this sort of exchange, bring new ideas to the session.
Yeah, right. That's a very good point. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I created names under a sheet. Also consider some stuff. So when we talk, now I know in future that this arrow stuff doesn't really work. When we say update proposal module templates, then we mean 1 module. So, and we have to do 10 modules, so that's later, we just sum it up. But when you see update proposal templates, then, okay. Yeah, then, okay, I'm just gonna, let's fix that right now. Then here, and there was another thing in these chaptering videos.
How many workshops will we have in total?
right now we had 4. So, and basically each of them was 3 hours. Assuming we complete it in 40 minutes. So it's like 12 hours I get a full proposal. Actually, it was less. We had a lot of like design approach discussions too. But yeah,
But how many proposals, how many workshops did you promise in our proposal?
1. And right now this is a new proposal. We haven't done this before. We are making a new proposal, and for now, let's promise only 1 proposal. So this way we get like minimum, like an MVP, like a minimum proposal, and if the budget allows, we can scale it up and then allocate our like schedules and stuff.
Evo, you predict each session will take how long? 40 minutes, but 1 hour, let's say.
On the Miro board, we added minutes on each chapter, and right now, if we do it the same way as we did the test runs, it will take 4 times 3 hours each.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, that's about 1.20 hours per chapter. 1 hour to facilitate the meeting and such, because it's the session length, the chapter length.
Yeah. And time to share screen. It's cool that we recorded everything. It's gonna be very fun to cut it all out. Okay. So looks like I made it. We looked up our results on the page 1, and I guess everywhere we have similar estimation. I guess we could just put the collective voice and skip it. Oh, I see. Tunis assumes linked kit for 2 hours. I think here is a difference. It's not that big, and I went with the assumption that Kauer said it's already kind of exists. That's why it's 1 hour.
Okay.
So it's fine if I assume it's fine if you do that. Then facilitate the meeting, make sure it's recorded and feedback is mentioned at the end. Me and Theo is 12 hours, but Kauer thinks 1 hour.
If you get, I got to this conclusion according to lines 27, 28, 29, that was per chapter and per proposal. But I think it's not, it's per session. There we multiply by 3, taking in consideration that are 3 chapters in a session.
Yeah. It's hard to say per chapter. But okay, then we kind of everywhere where it's meant to be like chapters, we just times it by 10 in our calculations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the idea was like 1 proposal MVP. Okay, but then technically we are aligned, because then you took like 1 session, but we have 12 hours of sessions, so it's the same approach. Prepare T-work tasks. Okay, there is a huge difference there. So I think managing all of these tasks we have in here already takes about 34 hours. but I see Kaue can do it in 1 hour. So let me load it all on you.
Again, line is 27 to 29. So we multiply it by them to have an idea the number of chapters. That would be 12 approximately.
But it's not just that. Okay, so 12 from workshops. I actually didn't even consider this. To me, each session it's just one hour, because it's creating like a workshop task is like 10 minutes, but then you just replicate it 12 times. It's okay, somewhat 1 hour. But all of this other stuff, creating a feedback form, asking proposer progress, tracking live attendance, all of these are also T-work tasks, and you kind of do it and then you manage it. I've even included some. For now, I just said 1 hour each task we just written down. That was my approach, because it's very hard to kind of even go into detail of how many each of these tasks could take, or like how to manage that.
Okay. In my point of view, Tebo, following your previous instructions, that we should not break down to minutes. I put as the lowest fraction of time 1 hour for everything. So even tasks that take 10 minutes, I put 1 hour, assuming that's the lowest fraction of time we were able to use it.
Yeah. Okay, I should have perhaps mentioned that if one task is 6 tasks, yeah, but yeah, you already have like this different approach. Yeah, well, in the end, if you can, would it possible for you to quickly fix up the numbers, or then, and if you do it on your Excel, then I think it should update on the main one. Meanwhile, Tõnis, what was your thought process about T-work tasks?
That was just an estimation. It doesn't seem like that much work to me, but I have no idea.
Would that 4 hours make sense for you too, Tõnis, or we find the middle way? Because the collective choice will now actually be the actual budget, because we're literally making a proposal. The end results of this discussion here is going to be our proposal request budget.
Yes, this is a formal thing, okay? In my opinion, each task we can make within 15, each task could be make up to 15 minutes. And because once we get to do what you're saying, we could allocate hours for template creations and then just output the tasks accordingly to the workshop as it goes. So I would assume this total amount of hours, most of it would go to template creations. And then is just, duplicate and put on the to-do list.
And when also, because we don't have any other T-work tasks. Yeah, that's a good point, because we have also project managements here. So yeah, because I actually was also estimating. I was just saying, okay, 1 hour each, because some of these are duplicates, and duplicates is just 1 minute. But then you're also considering that you move it across the board in progress, you update the details on there, like who is doing, and then hours. But then, for example, actually, this is perhaps a pretty good example on here, because I'm doing a full, every minute is counted on OpenTap framework. Let's see what kind of results I'm getting there. Maybe this gives some insight. So managing T-work tasks. So I have one task where I just collect all the managing stuff. So created the first task based on PM meeting, 2 hours, then now, and the rest of this is just moving the tasks around and doing more tasks, which just come up randomly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 6 hours to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Spaced. So for now, it's been, I don't know what's the output, 2.6, 60 tasks by 6 hours. So this means in 1 hour is 2.6 tasks. But yeah, it's hard because now it's all the first milestone. And yeah, because I don't have the full project, because now all of this will repeat because everything is set up and I don't really need to manage that much anymore.
People, we are planning
Yeah.
the plan of the unplannable. Until we start doing things, it is just an estimate.
Yeah, I'm just wondering which like estimation is a better approach. And I'm actually agreeing the fact that 50 minutes times, so 50 minutes is actually 0.25 hours times 32 tasks, that would be 8 hours. And I think that's a slightly better approach than mine. Because now looking at the results, it didn't really take that much. And we have project management meetings and we can like steal time from that. So let's say 8 hours for managing all the T-work stuff. Then collect information on Excel, which proposals got funded. Dennis thinks 3 hours, we take 1, we cover 1 hour less. And basically the reason is that we only do it, we prepare the Excel, and we don't even have to prepare the Excel once we have like an Excel of lists of all the proposals who registered, which is another task already. So we basically copy that information into one Excel, and funding results are also comes in an Excel. So we just browse through the like challenges where these proposals were, and we just, okay, funded, not funded, and that's it. So would you agree to be 1 hour?
Okay.
Because you were there. I guess this is better have more than less, because it's a support meeting, and then we just at least help the proposer to progress with the stuff, but not too much. But 4 hours, I think, is like reasonable, and it can mean that if you also join in this meeting, it literally doubles our time basically, because if we both join and we are in there for 1 hour, it's total of 2 hours.
Okay.
Asking proposals progress reports. Here I put 2, you put 3. Yeah, let's pick 3 then. I think it's fine. Again, a bit of leeway. Because that would, but then yeah, because if he answers something, you asking a progress report and he answers, you might have to like already give some feedback to and return an answer. And if we're not using ChatGPT, for me especially, it takes a long time to kind of write the message back, which is comprehensive and actually helps. Support proposer in live workshops, since we are online here. support browser offline since we're online here. Prepare resources for live sessions. So I put 4 hours because I assumed again, like we have 4 sessions, which are 3 hours each, let's say, and each of these are like 30 minutes preparing, like looking at who is the proposer, and maybe designing a little the Miro board beforehand, or copy pasting some links already in, which are needed to use. It could take less, but I know it just gave extra time just to make sure that it's kind of afforded. But we can go to the like middle way, like 2 hours, then like 50 minutes preparing.
No, that was my approach. I was looking for the minimum time.
Okay, let's put 3 then. Just to make collective. Here we are aligned, 1 hour. Update proposal module templates. You put 4 hours. I put 40 hours. Yeah, basically just personal. Technically, I overshot it because somehow some templates took like 6 hours. Most of them took like 3 to 4 hours, but like title chapter took like 50 minutes. Like didn't do anything. So there were like, it could be less hours, but I would like to have much more time to just to think how to actually do this design process and questions. But then again, I wonder, maybe it was just harder this time, because if you compare the previous results, we had like this, we didn't have too much stuff, but now I included in all the proposal questions which they didn't consider, and all the previous feedback which was given by the previous, and like assembling that into a design process, and actually like drawing that stuff up, like moving the arrows and like trying to think of the flow, that just took time.
Yep.
Was this justification enough to have 40 hours?
Sure.
Or should we, because if we put less hours, it doesn't mean we don't get stuff done. We just think it differently, and it's still an iterative process, and could actually be a better result than not overthinking, because more time gives you opportunity to overthink.
Yep.
But okay, I'm gonna put 40. Track live attendance and record it on Excel. To me, it's actually less than 1 hour, because I see 4, there's an Excel, I put number 4 there, done.
Okay.
Coordinate tasks between team members. I put 12 hours. You put 3 hours. Yeah, I'm actually don't remember why I put 12 hours. Because this teamwork actually now coordinates it on its own. And coordinating also is included in the project management in here. So I'm actually okay with your 3 hours. Or what's your thought on that? Where
You mean how I came to this number?
yeah.
I would say it's the time when you spent in our Discord, for example.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the. Yeah, I kind of was thinking a bit of like project management and task management without, but now if you have a teamwork, then it's not actually that hard to coordinate stuff. And okay, but 3 hours per person, so 9 hours. or you already thought that 1 hour each person? Because we still got to consider it's like full 4 or 6 months of our work. So I think, how about 9 hours spending on Discord in half a year?
Okay, then I misunderstood. I was only thinking about like our meetings up till now. I was not thinking about the future sessions.
What's your thoughts, Kaue?
I think this is confusing. We have double tasks in several descriptions. We're still trying to figure out if the result of this spreadsheet will actually reflect, or at least give us an idea of the time consumption itself, or we are just reviewing the tasks and throwing out numbers. I don't know. It's not clear to me yet. That's it. I'm sorry.
Well, technically it's both. We are reviewing and throwing out numbers to kind of estimate the budget, but you're agreeing we should look at things that if this gives an feeling that it's a double, because now I'm starting to think it's double too, because at project management we have somewhere also like participate in project management meetings, and you do the coordination there, and we have a teamwork which also helps it along. So this is all basically the same thing, and we had it twice basically. I know it's a Miro bot.
Yeah, technically we are doing both, so theoretically we are gonna have a budget which or it's over budget because of the duplications.
But what we can do
in the execution, no, I don't know, Tevo, because as it is presented now, I don't know, I'm sure it will get better over time, but as it is presented now, I don't see a good outcome that will contribute to the budget formation. In my point of view, it's guessing. In my point of view, the variables are not set in a way that everybody can put the actual time, because we have to round up, we have to multiply by 3 and by 4 and everything. Everybody is thinking differently. That's why I use your guides, because really I cannot see the outcome of this as functional, as real. Okay, we got this spreadsheet done, we agree the hours, let's get the budget. And as you said, once the fund begins and the execution begins, everything might change. I know it's a starting point, but my question is this effort really necessary for a starting point, or is more confusing? I don't know. That's my point of view. In the actual spreadsheet filling in, as you see the whole, you have a systematic view of as a proposer owner. I will follow your what you decided, because really I don't know how to analyze or to build this.
Thank you. To be honest, it's hard to kind of top of the mind to bring out an alternative. Well, I think this is that important point for if the team is doing a proposal and it's trying to do the same thing we are trying to do. I'm not sure. Maybe this is a good thing that these kinds of misunderstandings actually come up, and it's important to kind of emphasize that because this helps to align the view how the proposal is expected to deliver, or like where is the majority of time actually is going. And this approach we are having, I'm also not sure is this the best approach. I'm doing also it is the first time kind of, and I've been doing it somewhat previously, but not in that detail. What does it give? At least why I would like to try this version, this method of like allocating hours and like trying to ideate on all the possible deliverables, is that when you actually have a task and a reward. So basically, hour is a reward, even though we don't look at it, but it's a reward because it's gonna be matched with the money. Then you probably gonna get the medium output, so that the average output to deliver on the proposal, and all of this complete package of that should deliver on proposal. However, I am aware that actually not allocating budget and making it actually like, how to say, like less paid work. So just saying that designer, we give you 2,000, like we are doing right now. You take $2,000 and marketer and all this stuff, and you figure it out. In the end, what we want to do is an educational content, and we want to have a good messaging. What tasks you need to do, how do you do it, this is up to you. Now we're taking a bit next level, that we align our vision, what tasks are even involved in all of this, so that we get the data out of what is a proposal plan, what does it make to be a proposal, basically. I don't know how to name it. And this, because I'm a bit of like a data side, analytical, and my hope in like a future that if these exercises kind of get attraction, and we in the end in future have like 10 or 20 or even 100 different proposals doing all of this tasking stuff, we then actually have the data source to build proposal generators. So we basically have video editor, I have, and then like mentioned before, that it basically gives you already all the stuff, how much it takes, and if it has like different teams with different hours, then it can give you estimations already from different teams. Like some people do project management from 10 hours to 30 hours. These are the tools they are using. Some people are doing it with more. Some people are doing video marketing or stuff with, again, they like a measuring between. So the AI or the tool itself starts to kind of give you some feeling of how much it could take. And that also helps to assess the proposal, like with somebody writing stuff down, slaps a proposal budget like we have right now and no details, then it will be able to extract the information and analyze how feasible it is. So that's why I feel like the task and time collecting and thinking about it, it makes it scalable approach. Maybe not wrong, right? Makes it usable for future iterations. However, yes, this another thing here to consider is if we over budget like we are doing right. This is a good point out, and actually this is why I also made it white and made it red here, to basically to me that so 0 hours, okay, because if we over budget ourselves, yeah, somewhat it's nice to get the bonus, but if you overpay a person, usually they do actually less quality work. They just, because I don't know, it's a human psychology. Why people work or why they do stuff is because of purpose of us achieving something, not how much they get rewarded. Well, for some it's different depending on their status on a personal level, where they are at the life. If they are struggling and they need money for life, or food, then they probably will choose the highest paying possible option first. But once they reach to the point of now they have everything to have the baseline of life, then now paying more doesn't add anything. The only way to actually get more is to, funny enough, do free work like we do here in Catalyst. So purely on passion, and that creates innovation. Yeah, I didn't answer your question, but that's like why I designed this task like that with this chapter. Yeah.
About the budget thing, remember we had some in previous fund, we had some criticism that like the numbers are taken from nowhere. We have no like detailed explanations where the money comes from. So I would say this is a good exercise to see where the numbers come from still.
Yeah, I took the proposal feedback also and used that for the templates. And I'm not sure was that one of the reasons why that happened, but would be. However, on that case, perhaps we could split this exercise into two and have like a scoping element. Like, do you just want to have like a high level, so that we go just the role based and we estimate how much money that role would want for this amount of months, like being a part of team, and they don't go into detail. They are made get the same, doesn't avoid the criticism of the assessor, and probably will reduce the feasibility amount for those who think like, oh no, you say 10,000 to developer, but what actually does? What are the tasks it delivers? How long it delivers? And maybe puts a score 3 or 4. But at least in our education approach, we have like 2 different levels, so that if we want to go detail or we want to have an overview first, because maybe they are just trying different proposals and don't want to kind of go into, because right now we have almost spent like 120 minutes on this. But if we would have kept it on just a role level, we would be done already like on 30 minutes. So maybe this helps a little.
Or this just proves that we are thinking, we are just brainstorming. Because what, in my point of view, we should focus on how to get this, how to set up a feasible, let's say, spreadsheet or budget breakdown for the proposal that comes to the workshop in a way that is accord it within the guidelines of Project Catalyst. And of course, feeding the assessors with the information and everything. So if you think as a voter, Tim, you get into ID scale and you see that, does this tell you something? For instance, if I don't know what the work is.
No, but that's right. This proposal, we actually kind of changed our solution or the problem statement also. We're no longer targeting having like a perfect proposal or making a readable proposal for a voter, but we choose the problem statement. Less than half of funded proposals do not finish based on proposal roadmap. We opened up the Catalyst idea scale and like a lot of them just don't finish, don't have closing reports, and a lot of like overtime. And this now we are preparing the content that the proposal is a way to execute your proposal. So this is not for voter, this information is for the proposer themselves. When 4 or 3 months after they get funded, they pick it up and okay, now let's start doing what exactly? And then they see their own work, their own estimation, and they get clear picture of where their mind were at that time. And even if they, and I'm actually trying to go beyond that. So even if the team doesn't have the time or understanding or like doesn't want to do, it's actually able to outsource entire project. So you read and any proposal, you pick it up and just, oh, okay, I have the same problem and I like the solution. I want this solution. I pick the proposal, I read how to execute it. What do I need to do to have this solution? And so the proposal describes you not how to, but what needs to be done and what is the cost. And yeah, cost is always like perspective, I guess, but you still.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go back to this question then. Participate in project management meetings. So here I put 19 hours, you put 12 hours. The reason it's 19 hours is this testing to me is also project management meeting. And we had previously also like these 1 hour meetings to just see where we are at. And total, it takes about in 6 months or 4 months, we're going to do it. I assumed around 30 hours per person, but because we have 3 people, I tripled it. There, the 19 hours comes from. Make sure all the tasks by team members are completed. Yeah, actually, no idea. I see Tõnis put 1 hour, and this, I would actually say this is also a duplicate. Considering it's all comes down again coordinating. So if we have the T work, we just check the T work, are they in done section? If not, then let's coordinate and talk about why it's not in done. So I think it's all included here in these 90 hours. Analyze live sessions, feedback, results, and propose improvements to educational material. Yeah. This example I took from actually, it's somewhat duplicate because we have this, what is that? Not prepare, what update proposal modules. But that's like taking new information and trying to match it with already existing information. Analyzing is that we have 10 chapters. I thought like it took me 6 hours to analyze and 4 hours to recap video for the OpenTap framework. It was a 90-minute session where we just brainstormed a lot of stuff. Probably that maybe took more time, so totally 10 hours there. And so I thought maybe each chapter here takes like 6 hours to analyze and make a recap. But probably I'm overshooting it. But yeah, I just wanted to see your numbers, and that's like, okay, I'm going to go to the maximum. But yeah, it's hard to say, like how I mentioned, that every chapter is so different, and then it's come to like, what if it's like 6 hours, what do you analyze about it? And do we do it systematically? But if you do it systematically, then you have to think about the system, and that's why I kind of put it in that we're gonna have like a recap session. So like we conclude the chapters, you do the draft, but I do like also a feedback to the proposers themselves and team that how this session went, in my opinion, and reorganizing that information in a way it's more understandable. I think you both know the OpenTap framework, and so you know what's the.
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna. So we had this session. It lasted 90 minutes. There are 3 exercises here, and we took notes based on the framework. And then after the session, I spent around 10 hours, including making a video. Like this information is exactly the same information, including feedback from the forum and feedback from Discord. So all the purple ones are like feedback. And then I also included links. Okay, so yeah, that's already another thing. Yeah, which we don't have to consider, because probably I'm not adding more links to the Miro board myself. This is the proposer work to do. Yeah, okay, let's cut it down then. Let's make it 40 hours. It's like a almost 30% cut. But yeah, basically the same output, but in more organized format. So all of these sticky notes are now in this format. All the duplicates are removed. But yeah, I wonder how could we do it in our workshops. Like we have this output. Is it enough to have this output? Or we clean it up and organize it?
Enough for what?
Yeah, I'm wondering, maybe I'm overthinking here the analyzing live session feedback. Maybe it's just because it's this template itself is already framed. You can't really organize. How do you reorganize that? I'm like, I can't even think about it. Like, what does that mean? Only thing I could think is like, after we get the feedback from the forums, we put the forum feedback into appropriate position. When somebody mentions, hey, these questions about what does successful project look like, I didn't really understand that. Then I can take that feedback and look at here and like making new tasks to myself for the future, basically, how to improve that section, and like Google shares, like what are other approaches to get the same X output, and then and then this work goes back to the next time when I do the update proposals, because then I have the links and the questions I need to incorporate, and then I design the new. So this means I only read the feedback. If we have 12 chapters, I read basically a 10-minute sheet. So it's basically, let's say 6. Tõnis was right. He knows better than me. That was a good one. And that came out only because we did this kind of comparing. What was my thought process applying to your thinking? or you now thinking, now this analysis feels like a red herring and we shouldn't analyze our results? And
I was just thinking, by this point, you mean like after the sessions, you ask for the feedback about the session and then you make conclusions and write them down or something.
Yeah. On the My report itself, in a way that that it could be used to improve the design and the process in future.
Okay.
Still 2, 4, some cleaning up here, 5, and it's like, let's say 5 hours per month if it's the 6 months. Yeah, we still, even if you put still 5 hours per month just updating my report, it still will end up like 30 hours. So I would go with 20 hours as I estimated before, just to make sure we cover the visual approach of managing project and make use of that task. Video thumbnail, because it can't really go worse. If like we do it in 5 hours and we're like, we have 15 hours of work to do in my report, then we have so much room to come up with new ideas, or maybe include other people into, hey, when you join in here, what's your first problem? Oh, this is your problem. Okay, let's design it better and let's make new guides or stuff. And we have room and budget then. Video thumbnail for each chapter. I say 10 hours because I was like expecting 1 hour bit for each picture. Tõnis thinks 1. Which Kaue thinks? We technically have 16 videos. Okay, no, in that case, let's say, yeah, in this future proposal, 1 chapter, 1 video, 1 thumbnail.
Yeah, thumbnail, you do it only once and you replace the text. So that's why you can put 1 hour for everything. And the thumbnail is ready. You have
I'm gonna put 2 hours, just in case. Because to me, it's, I don't know, artwork always feels like takes time. Create forum
Don't we just copy paste the thumbnails basically?
Sure, fine. If you don't want to spend 2 hours on thumbnails and 1, I'm gonna add it 1. But yeah. Okay. Create form. Here we are aligned. Form is simple. Media creation, video content description. I don't like 2 hours. You say 1 hour. Kaue thinks video description to 10 videos.
Two hours also, Timo. GPT chat will help us.
Create appealing imitation message. And we see one was very close. Let's put one. Spreading workshops, we are aligned. Chaptering videos for accessibility. Tõnis, you put 4 hours. I put 12 hours because I'm assuming you're gonna watch the entire video, and that's if a video is 1 hour long, it takes you 1 hour to do the chapters. But you are actually doing chapters faster than the video duration. Do you have some tooling, or like you have method, or how did you arrive to 4 hours?
I was only thinking about our sessions.
Yeah, but the session is gonna be the same. So we have 12 hours of videos, content, and you would do 4 hours of work. You get all the chapters in.
Well, there is so much filler. I just cut it the most out.
No, it's not filler stuff. This is chaptering the videos. So to have the timestamps, the titling. Okay. So you do the filler, then you kind of know the content, and then you skip like some video material. That's why you are able to do it faster than the video speed itself.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you are expert, so for here then. And I assume 24 hours to cut out the filler, because again, to me, it was like, if the 12 hours is the video, it takes you twice as much to kind of cut it and like figure it out, but you say 4 hours.
Actually, we had numbers from our last fund. I think we had numbers how long it really took.
I'm gonna look archive stuff. I think we had this same approach somewhere that we ideated how many hours it will take to edit the video or something. But you can come up with that right now too, and then we can match it. I'm going to try to find the place where we did that.
You know, it's also pretty hard to estimate the different tasks, how many time it takes. I usually look at that like one huge thing, and I just not as separate things.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. That you're cutting and like chaptering and titling at the same time. What are these? Mini proposals as a service. Did we do any expectations? Market defining success KPIs. User flow, product and budget.
That looks a little bit too old, I think.
Okay. Video content about mini proposals. Yeah, we had different proposal to get the video stuff in.
Wow.
What do we say here? Yeah, these are views and stuff. Artist 1 hour per video. Editor 4 hours per video.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
So we have 4 hours per video, and that would mean we have 12 hours of video, then it's 48 hours actually. But we included in cutting it rearranging it and editing it. Okay, yeah. So yeah, last time, yeah, we did it all in one piece. So this time, if you want to keep the same cutting, rendering, and chaptering, should total be 40 hours, 48 hours. So I put rendering 1 hour. So that's just you click a button and you wait.
True, true.
So 36 hours here. And then chaptering then is just 12 hours still. It's watch the full video, and while you find the chapter, you just name it. So 40 hours. Then we use the same approaches previously, and yeah, just rendering is rendering is rendering.
And uploading.
Yeah, okay. Create the reward NFT. Yeah, that's hard one. 6 hours. And that was like figuring out how to export the PDF, figuring out how to upload it to the IPFS, then designing the metadata, including some nice message stuff, and then 2 hours for KW to figure out the nice picture for the NFT, and then minting the NFT, which is now is much easier. But does 6 hours to create an NFT sounds feasible?
I think sounds too much.
How about
About
5?
half 4 hours to have a.
Okay, 4 sounds pretty. Updating a rewards Excel with the balance changes. So funny enough, we are aligned here. Yeah.
Finally.
No, it's not the first time. But yeah. Distributing the rewards between team members in a fair way. You put 1, I put 2. Yeah, it could be done probably in 1. I'm just gonna make it just for that. In our case, it's actually, yeah, probably 1. But maybe we want to change the way we distribute, because now we are so detailed on the task management and task stuff. Perhaps we have Swan treasury and stuff. So we don't really need to think about how do we do the process. But still, let's make the accounting get paid. $50 more. Summarize monthly project results for project progress. Yeah, I put 4, so it's like 30 minutes per month, and I don't know if you do it like 6 months or 8 months, who knows. You put 2, but you don't know what you're talking about, so KW was nodding, so I'm gonna put 4. For closing report, yeah, to me, I don't know, I have fucking hate closing reports. It takes so much time for me. And making a video like actually takes like 4 or 6 hours. So maybe should be getting better at this. And we have been doing closing reports for this particular stuff. So maybe it's faster. Does 8 sound too much, or can we roll with it?
Sure.
Because we're gonna have like a 1 hour meeting also. So probably it's like 3 hours of all together time, and then few hours doing something, and then a video. And so I think it's somewhat okay. Final. Interprets the data collected and turns it into a draft proposal ready to be submitted. I assumed it's gonna take you 14 hours because it's a lot of video material, and you basically go through all of that, and you organize it, you format it, you add fluffy text into it, but you say 4 hours. Are you saying you made a mini proposal workshop proposal in 4 hours?
I don't. What do you think, Tevo?
Maybe.
Previous experience.
I'm telling 14 hours. I'm telling this is a fucking hard job. Especially if you have now so many details and you're not really working on your proposal, you're doing it for somebody else.
Since when are we writing for other people?
Since next summer, if we get funded.
So we are taking the proposal writing thing and adding it to this one.
Kinda, yes, but what we do is we run through entire this thing with another team, and you will have the same output as you can see here, and you write the proposal. Oh, maybe even better exercises. Look at that data we have now. Look at all the videos we created now. Write the proposal and let us know how much hours it took, and we use that as a final estimation.
Okay.
And the same thing we will do for others too. After all these workshops, you take a week, you will figure out when you can do the draft, and then we provide the people the draft from this workshop. So that if they are like, because I'm thinking we're gonna target something from not native English speaker, so then we are more impactful. We went over budget. So technically 300 hours of work to do this future proposal, and budget of $12,000. And if we want to include the tax, then 14,000. So yeah, we can play around with this future. We have time to do that and think about, okay, where do we fit it? How do we put it? But we did almost finish this, but it is not yet done.
What?
But it's been a crazy 4 hours in a row, so I think we need to capture it in some other time. But basically, what else to do is all of these tasks, we should explain when it's completed. So this is like giving a timeline of ongoing throughout the proposal, after workshop, refer to workshop schedule, before and after every workshop. So technically, this actually doesn't take that much time. Let's do it. I think this is a 10-minute exercise. Let's squeeze it in. Create MPV feedback form. So this happens before every workshop. This here. Before we start workshops, coordinate meeting, prepare process. Before we start workshops, create the invitation. Before make link it, I guess, before facilitate the meeting. Before we have completed templates. Prepare deliver tasks, and before we have completed templates. Okay, so maybe start of the project. Collect the information on Excel which proposals got funded. After funding results, have additional support meetings.
if needed.
After workshops. And if needed, yeah, but after workshop, because before workshop it's not really. So if needed after workshops. And asking proposers, progress reports, and if they need help with something, proposer who use the resources, yeah, after workshops. Support process in live workshops. In the workshop. Propose offline when they ask questions. I actually felt like a double here. Support pros and after they ask questions and have additional support meetings. Yeah, this is like a more Discord communication. That's an actual meeting. Actually, this is duplicate, I would say. Who would agree with this? Or do you disagree? Maybe I forgot already. But this feels like a duplicate of the asking proposers progress reports. And if they need help with something, proposer who use the resources. So it's kind of the same. We just initiate them to ask questions from us if they are in problem. And if not, then we don't really actually have this either.
Maybe it's different because we ask them progress reports, how, like after the sessions, like how are you doing? Are you still doing your thing?
Okay. Cool. So this is between workshops. Prepare resources for live sessions before each workshop. Track registration for live sessions and record it on Excel after each session. Update proposal module templates 10 modules chapters. Update proposal module templates. So this is before workshops. Track live attendance and record it on Excel. After workshops. Participate in project management, project meetings, ongoing throughout the proposal. Analyze live session feedback. After workshop sessions. Manage project documentation on Mira board. Ongoing throughout. Video thumbnails. Yeah, after workshops, I guess. Technically, you did thumbnails before we even had videos. Or maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, if there's no title, we can do it and right away before everything. But after the session, if you want to put a special title, obviously after the workshop.
Yeah, okay, so better to prepare template beforehand to save, yeah. Okay, so prepare template before workshops. Create a forum for those who use offline educational resources and want to be supported. Ongoing throughout the proposal. Media creation, video content description. After workshops. Create a appealing invitation message. In fact, actually, after uploading videos. Create the appealing invitation message before workshops. Spreading. Yeah, I wonder, is this exercise better in the Miro board? Because then you can kind of visualize it, okay, where is something is, and then maybe move it around. Yeah, this exercise could use some better help. But let's keep it. Let's not gonna dive into this right now. Spreading the workshops and other content in different media channels. Before workshops, chaptering the videos for accessibility. After workshops, cutting, rendering, create reward NFT. After workshops, updating and rewards Excel with balance changes.
Ongoing.
Distributing rewards, going summarize monthly projects once per month. After last thing, interprets the data collected and turns it into draft proposal ready to be submitted. After workshops. And some are after, so this is after all workshops, and this is after all workshops. This is after each workshop. For each workshop. After each before each accreditation, after each, yeah, these are each in the workshops. Asking proposals, progress reports. Yeah, okay, progress reports, and if they need help with something from proposal, who use the resources. Yeah, it's hard to. I guess after each workshop, so they're more like up to date. I have additional supporting meetings. After first workshop. Okay, so actually after first workshop, we start thinking about and this. Okay. So now we're done. Oh boy. So how long it took us? This task took us 40 minutes. We chill it, so it's 180 minutes. Yeah, I could use some. We need some splitting up to do, I guess. Because yeah, all this discussion and all that. So I think actually this chapter should be split into two. Like one is ideating and brainstorming all the tasks, and then everybody goes to sleep, has fun. And the next time we come back, we look at these tasks again with a fresh eye, and then allocate the numbers. And then it's probably more like, or this, because it was 3 hours. Yeah, we have one, like if we want to have a 3-hour session. I guess this is all up to the proposer. How is it, but basically, yeah, you should be fitting either just this chapter in one day, or we split it into two. But okay, I'm gonna do the final outro of the output.
Good luck.
So we finished chapter 10, proposal cost and delivery schedule. We ideated on all the tasks. We used examples from roles, and we ideated based on what each of these roles will do. Then we went back in the other chapters, in previous chapters, and checked some sticky notes. The main ones were from KPIs, from last output from chapter 8, 5E experience, and from chapter 6, we looked into how do you mitigate the risks and made sure that the way we mitigate risks are also as in tasks or action items in this table. Then we copied all the stickies into the Excel, and we created ourselves three Excel versions, and each of us estimated the times, how long we each think, how long the task will take. And then we one by one went through all of them, which had a huge difference, and talked about where this number comes from. And through this discussion, we decided on a collective hours we spending. And finally, we summarized it up on the total hours. We got 300 hours to complete this proposal. And with this, we got our proposal cost, which is $12,000. And if you live in a country where you have to pay tax on your income, then in our case, in Estonia, it's 20%. So including that in, our total cost would be $40,000. Now it's time to go back into the playground. If it's too much or too low, then you can always add more tasks, think about what went wrong. But with this, we concluded this chapter, and it took us 3 hours.